I did want to jump
Thanks.
in, and before we missed this, we did have another question just now come in from Andrew. Andrew asks, is IFS coupled with CAD Talk an opportunity to displace PDM, PLM software such as PTC Windchill, Teamcenter, or SolidWorks PDM? Which I think I know the answer to that question, but I will turn that over to our panel here in terms of answering that one.
Yeah, so CAD Talk is that kind of transformation engine. So it's not necessarily an opportunity to displace a PDM or PLM. When you're utilizing a PDM or PLM system to do that transformation from those into IFS, we have the ability to run that in a more automated solution with using those state changes or lifecycle triggers to push the information from PDM or PLM into IFS. And using a PDM or PLM is a little bit better system for the CAD management instead of, using network drives or things like that where, multiple people could open a file at the same time and you lose that version history as well.
So I always think about these things in like the jobs to be done scenario. And so for designers, there are certain jobs that need to be done, the jobs to be done, and checking in and checking out of the files and those that that that's a process that needs to be done. IFS has a process for checking in, checking out of files for like PDFs and other documents, but not really designed for CAD structures and their linking in terms of for a designer. And so typically PDM systems are good for that process. PDM systems also are good for workflow management for engineering revisions that automatically up-rev the parts. Now IFS has that too, but the job to be done in IFS often can be around, like as Steve mentioned, like routings and other procurement data and other downstream information. So in my experience, data management in CAD and PDM is definitely still necessary, but really because those tools are best of breed for what they do. IFS and CAD Talk can enhance some of that, make some of it easier, give better communication. To Steve's point, break down silos, because typically what we've seen is in engineering would be stuck in its silo doing its thing, and then IFS would be stuck in its silo doing its thing. Where CAD Talk kind of helps to bridge that gap and do the transformation and improve communication across the two different systems.
If I can just add to that, Jeff. So CAD Talk doesn't replace PDM and PLM. It's really going to add more value as really the interface between those systems and ERP. And it does it in a very quick and effective way because it's got connectors to the majority of CAD systems. Okay, so you're not starting with a blank integration. You're starting with something that can connect very, very quickly. And for a good investment, you can get that integration up and running quickly. But my experience is that engineers do not want to own pushing bombs to people in operations, right? That's not what they're there for. They're there to design, okay? So what you have in CAD Talk is a way in which once they're at the point where they've released the engineering design, you can have a tool that will automatically inform operations that this is ready for you and that can be pulled rather than pushed. Now, that in a recent program was quite revolutionary to that business because there was a real problem in terms of communication between those areas, and having a tool that had visibility of when the engineering release was ready and allowing the people that were in procurement and manufacturing to be able to pull that information so that they could react and plan and do what they needed to do. That was a real step change for them, operationally and efficiency. So CAD Talk can be used to push or to pull that information depending on what the business requirements are. So again, I think that that's a real something for businesses in manufacturing to look at, is what is best for you in your business, and there isn't always a right or wrong answer here. It's about how that business works together. But certainly from an operations point of view, having that information in real time can make a massive difference, because you've got people often who are making things for you and you're buying products. And if that's changing, you need to inform them as quickly as possible so that you minimize any cost disruption or scheduling disruption in that supply chain. So yeah, I see it as being a great tool. My experience working with these guys is they're very professional. They do what they say, which in this sort of market is really important. And the product itself, it's really robust and quick and easy to deploy. So yeah, my experience of working with these guys, and if anyone's in the audience, I would highly recommend Jeff and his team.
I see that. I like how you were. I appreciate the endorsement. I also like that you talk about that CAD Talk is more can be done in multiple ways. That kind of pooling, because the idea is really about something we know is going to always happen is changes, right? We're not going to get out of that, and so anything that can help a business deal with those changes faster, more accurately, the better. And whether that's, you're going to push data out of engineering when those changes happen quickly, or you're going to pull it in, reroute the parts, whether that's because of tariffs or that's because of material shortages or because of just the needs of different parts, that having something that can look at the data and make those changes for you as quickly as possible to see those changes reflected is really what's critical for the business.
Thanks again, Jeff, and thanks, Dylan, and thanks for the team behind the scenes that have made this possible. Just like to send my best wishes to the audience, and thank you for listening.